love glitter. I know it's not environmentally friendly. The common kind is made of toxic microplastics. But thank all that is sparkly and holy, there are biodegradable kinds of glitter. And I'm sure that's the kind glinting and sparkling in the kingdom of heaven, however you define that ideal place of our dreaming. In that ideal place, which we might call beloved community, the glitter isn't plastic, it's the real stuff, stardust. What we are made of, each and every one of us, biodegradable stardust. The glimmering, pulsing, sparkling matter of life itself, manifesting in infinitely diverse and evolving forms. Some people hate glitter because it's so messy, so hard to contain and get rid of once it's set free. Someone sends you a card in the mail with glitter inside, or your kid brings home a glitter-strewn art project, or even worse, knocks over a jar of the stuff. And for the next 10 years, you're cleaning the stuff up, right? Because Lord knows we sure don't want any stray sparkles around, catching the sunlight, surprising us with something utterly impractical when we're engaged in serious business. We don't want any random, useless sparkle reminding us of what? Delight? Play? Magic? Stardust? Oh, my friends, if you're a glitter hater, I get it. I really, really do. I'm like that so much of the time myself, which is precisely why I love glitter. Why it sets me free in small yet powerful ways. Why it brings me such delight. About 20 years ago, when I was busy with the serious business of studying for my PhD, I started a small feminist spirituality group. We met regularly for nearly 10 years, doing deep spiritual reflection and practice together. We dug deep, we let ourselves break open, we went to the scary places in ourselves and found our ways to healing. And we always, always practiced delight. It wasn't conscious. We never said, let's undertake together a spiritual practice of delight. But looking back, I realized that's exactly what we did. We did it intuitively. We practiced delight so that we could go deep, so that we could break open, so that we could find our way to wholeness by being radically vulnerable with each other and honest with ourselves. Glitter was our sacrament. It was the symbolic expression of our feeling of liberation, of our delight in feeling more at home in the universe because we were becoming more free. We were becoming more fully our uncontainable selves, glorious, messy, wild, resilient, fluid, interdependent, and whole. Freedom breeds delight, and delight reminds us that we are meant to be free, breaking free together of toxic conditioning and internalized hatred, of the cramped boxes we often find ourselves in. Breaking free breeds delight. Breaking free together of the rigid ways we carry ourselves due to trauma or habit. Breaking free of the sense that we should be different than we are. This kind of intentional breaking free together has everything to do with delight, with pride, with beloved community. In some traditional forms of Christianity, pride is considered the worst sin of all. C.S. Lewis once said that pride is the essential vice, the utmost evil, the complete anti-God state of mind. And there is some truth to that, important lessons for us, but the people whose inherent worth and dignity are systematically denied, we might argue the exact opposite is true. That taking pride in oneself and one's community is healing, redemptive, and liberatory. That taking pride in who we are, unique manifestations of the spirit of life, brings us closer to the divine, closer to the heart of the universe. Taking pride in ourselves when we are told we should feel shame, that we should hide, deny, and contort ourselves in order to fit in is a practice of delight and liberation, a practice we Unitarian Universalists often undertake in the name of building beloved community. In Unitarian Universalism, we try to create communities of radical welcome, radical hospitality, where people of diverse identities and beliefs unite around shared values, held together by covenant, and try to live out a radically inclusive ethic of love. And although we are far from perfect, Unitarian Universalism has been a leading faith movement in the struggle for LGBTQ rights. Since 1970, Unitarian Universalism has been actively working against LGBTQ discrimination, providing educational and other kinds of resources to support the full inclusion of LGBTQ people inside and outside of our faith. And we should be proud of this ongoing, life-saving work, especially now with the aggressive assault on transgender people, on reproductive rights, bodily autonomy, and freedom of expression across the country, fueled by right-wing religious rhetoric and religious institutions. Especially now, we need to be loud and proud about our Unitarian Universalist faith. We need to share the good news that there are religious communities that actively reject homophobia and transphobia, who seek to become ever more welcoming and safe for LGBTQ people and their families, who seek to manifest that parable that we started with, of the kingdom of heaven being like a pride parade, where all are welcome and love wins. UU Minister Alex Heider-Winnett writes, June is set aside as Pride Month. It is a time for us to remember that the best thing we can be is ourselves. It is a time to remember to love and care for one another. It is a time to respect the beautiful diversity of humanity. This is the time when we affirm there is no one way to do family, and a time to affirm that there are infinite genders and expressions. It is a time to work for justice and to bring more beauty into the world. June is to dream of a more wondrous world, to bring more magic into reality. June is for gratitude for each other, to be bold in our loving for our friends, our family, our neighbors, and our partners. What better time for us here at UUSM to also celebrate the generosity of members of this religious community, to take pride in your mission, in your vision, in your work to support and sustain this liberal, welcoming community for the benefit of all who need it, who need what it has to offer: hope, love, music, spiritual connection and growth, a desire to be open, a caring, multi-generational community dedicated to transformation. Take pride in what you have to offer, especially in a time such as this. This is a challenging time for congregations as well. Some say for institutions in general. We are in a different stage of the pandemic now, but it's not over. We're all still dealing with the impacts, with the trauma. Congregational life changed radically, and the expectations on ministers, already extremely high, simply became too much for many. The Great Resignation was real. There is a shortage of ministers, and not just in Unitarian Universalism. More new ministers are going into chaplaincy and community ministry than congregational ministry right now. And those seeking congregational positions are often geographically bound, which limits the pool of candidates still further. These are not trends that will likely turn around anytime soon, nor are they solely a result of the pandemic. We are living in liminal times. To address this trend, the Unitarian Universalist Association, for the first time ever, is recommending to any congregation under 125 members, which I believe this congregation is at that level, to do contract ministry searches instead of settled ministry searches. And I encourage you to read the letter or the email that was sent out by the MTT and to click on the link and read a little bit more from the UA's Transitions Director about the landscape at this time. But my friends, you are ahead of the game. You've already been doing what the UUA is recommending. Creatively weaving together contract ministries and lay ministries to meet your needs. You have already been innovating and adapting, evolving and changing. This makes you well poised to succeed in new and uncertain territory. You should be proud. Despite the uncertainty and difficulties of the past few years, you have kept faith in each other and in this community. You have given of yourselves in so many ways to sustain the life-giving ministry of this community. You have shared generously your time, talent, and treasure. You are investing in your future. You have lost people, and you are also growing. This little hall is much fuller than it was before. And we had this full before the kids left. It's usually packed in here right now. It's getting harder and harder also to schedule events because there's so much happening. There is energy here and there is delight. Yes, there is also fatigue and uncertainty, feelings that need to be expressed and shared, losses to be grieved, conflicts to be addressed, learning to be done, and staff positions to be filled. But the glitter remains, my friends. The sparkles catch the light, the smiles, the laughter, the love, the generosity and creativity, the resilience, the commitment to your shared values and dreams, the commitment to keep showing up, offering your gifts, welcoming others in, ensuring there is a Unitarian Universalist community in North County for all who need our liberal and liberating message. So keep shining your light brightly, my friends. Don't worry about the mess. Focus on the glitter, on the love. Grow that. Delight in it. Take pride in yourselves and in this resilient, evolving community. Show up with pride in the larger community as Unitarian Universalists, as Unitarian Universalists of San Mateo. San Mateo needs you. The world needs you. Offer your gifts generously. Open your doors wide. Protest what does not lift up love. Let yourselves be known by the glitter and the love. May it be so. Amen.